There is no doubt more needs to be done to support those with mental health. And while much of the focus is on adults, parents with children struggling with mental health issues need support as well. A special conference will be held in our city next month, providing much needed support for mental health and our youth. Joining us this morning to talk more about it are Tania, Tammy, Amanda and Dan. Thank you all for being here this morning. I appreciate having you all here. I guess first of all, the main question is, how big of an issue is this, Tania?
It's a big issue and it's growing. So we know that there's about 10 to 20% of kids in Canada struggling with mental health issues, and only about 20% of those kids will get the help that they need.
And why is that? Is the help not there?
I think there's still a lot of stigma. Education is needed, further education when children are struggling, cost, wait list. There's a number of issues that stop kids from getting the help that they need.
And so what do parents need to do?
I think parents need to just be aware and talking with their kids and seeing where they're struggling. Like, are they struggling in school? Is it sleep? Is it friendships? And if it is a legitimate mental health issue, we're going to see it permeate the school, home life, extracurriculars. It's not going to be an issue in one area. It's going to be an issue in lots of areas. And it's going to impact their social relationships, their sleep, their ability to function in school, extracurriculars, having a relationship with the parents, lots of different things. So I think being really attuned to our kids and really sitting up and paying attention and having those conversations and just knowing what's my baseline for my child, and all of a sudden, why is there such a huge transition my child's going through right now?
Right.
So again, it's just keeping the lines of communication open with teachers and other adults who are with our kids to know if they're really struggling.
And so what was the struggle that your family faced? Tell us your story.
The main thing was I was just recently divorced, and I noticed some just slight behavioral changes in I have 3 daughters, so in a couple of my daughters, and I was just concerned. And so then I started reaching out to try to find different opportunities to try to provide them the support they needed, and also maybe like
support you needed as well.
Yeah, like the information that I needed to try to better understand.
And I'm like that stepmom figure.
Yeah.
And so when you're coming into this and you've brought a dog to the table and you don't know how to, work with children or what the nuances are, and then you're also a catalyst of change, which is challenging as it is. I kind of wanted to almost get some training and understanding of how the little brains worked, because our brains aren't the same.
Right.
Right.
And so you have both started a conference in the city to help parents kind of go through these struggles and deal with these mental issues. Tell me a little bit about this conference.
Well, we have a number of different speakers. We actually have 20 plus presentations happening over a weekend, because people are struggling with different things. And so we've found specialists within the city and some specialists outside of the city limits to come in and really talk to parents about strategies that are going to help with long-term change. So not just Band-Aid approaches.
So what are some of the issues or specialists that you have during this conference?
Oh, we have quite a few. So we have registered psychologists, we have a chiropractor, we have some teachers that are coming in, counselors that are coming in, that also, we naturopathic doctor coming in, that our primary targets are psychologists, but we really wanted this year in particular to have a more well-rounded view of mental health and understand that when we treat children, it's not just about their mental health, it's about their bodies too. It's about family life, it's home life, it's the school system. So we really wanted to bring in this conference speaks to teachers as well and educators. So we really wanted to make sure we had supports for the variety of people who would be attending, not just parents.
And when it comes to the actual mental illness too, it's a wide variety as well.
Yeah, so we're looking at things like anxiety, helping kids through tantrums, through divorce and separation, through grief and loss, helping them navigate technology, simplifying home lifestyles. So there's a number of different topics. So basically parents and professionals can go in and look and go, what's most going to help me, and then choose the topics that will that pertain most to their life.
And I think it's important to know too that some people might think of this as, oh well, my child doesn't have a mental health issue, but it's not specific things. It could just be, like you said, a separation of parents or things that people may not clarify or maybe define as being a mental health issue.
Absolutely, the loss of a grandparent.
Yes.
Technology, it's a big topic right now. How do we help our kids navigate a world that's becoming more and more technologically sound?
So taking part in a conference like this, what you both attended last year, what was it like for you?
it was eye-opening. It was, you know, when you take your child to a counseling appointment, which I had, the opportunity that you have to really understand what's kind of going on is very brief. You know, maybe a quick parent session before your child starts, and then that's kind of, you leave your child with the psychologist and away they go. In this case, I was able to better understand how I can institute those same principles in my home, and also, like, maybe, you know, I can only go off of, as a parent, I can only go off of the way I was raised.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not areas where, you know, my parents' parenting style was much different than my own. And so how can I better my parenting style? And I really enjoyed, I believe it was you that taught the main one that I went to, and it was really, really, really informative for me on the thing that jumped out to me was attachment. That was where my one daughter really needed and was really kind of struggling with attachment. And like,
attachment to you or to her mom?
Exactly.
Okay.
So for me, it was better to understand that it's not necessarily attachment to an individual person, but it was literally just like attachment to whether it be her old lifestyle or attachment to how life, like how life used to be, not attachment to her dad or attachment to her mom, or maybe it is that. So for me, understanding that, oh, my daughter's really struggling with attachment right now, but it's not me. It's not her mom. It's her old life.
It's her little brain and her imagination. She shared with me, like, still understanding that daddy and mommy are getting back together, and we're in together for a year already. And so her little brain's still trying to process everything. And when you step back and realize that it's really difficult as a child for the little brain to understand this big world, and then everything got shaken up.
And a change in it.
And for me, my value with the conference is just the amount of data you get. So, you know, if you've got a benefit plan and it's paying $500 a year for your psychological services, that's maybe 2.5 sessions.
Wow.
Whereas you're really gaining a lot of data that's you're able to implement it in the home, and you're able to understand it from an educational perspective rather than just having your child go off with a psychologist, which is also good. But we just need to understand how our home life can be adjusted.
And I love that it is a conference for adults, for parents to come and have these conversations with other adults and figure out how to make things work in their life. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming on this morning and chatting about this. The conference is coming up, as I mentioned. The Children's Mental Health Conference takes place April 26th to the 28th at the Edmonton Inn and Conference Center. For more information, visit them online at instituteofchildpsychology.com or through Instagram at Institute of Child Psychology.